This is not a test. This is your emergency broadcast system announcing the commencement of Phatts TV, sanctioned by PA Phatts and the non-genetically proven son. Any and all words have been authorized during the show. There is nothing off limits. Nobody is restricted from watching and participating in the show. It is a free-for-all. Commencing at the siren, any and all discussions will be legal for an extended period of time. Sports, politics, and any and all controversial topics will be talked about. You have been warned. May God be with us all.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Phatts TV on this Friday night, December the 9th, 2022. The day before the Icebreaker Tournament and another season of high school bowling begins in Pennsylvania. I know you're all excited for that. I know you're all excited.
Not even when I was in high school, nobody cared about the Icebreaker.
Brings back good memories for the non-genetically proven son, I am sure.
The Icebreaker?
Yes.
I got all tournament team.
Yes.
Once.
Yes.
So,
I want to start off tonight. I'm only going to make mention of this for about 30 seconds. It's not very often when sports and politics get to mix. As you know, if you're a longtime watcher of our show, we do a sports show and we do a political show. So as you know, we had a black homosexual female released from prison over in Russia yesterday. Now, we're going to talk much more about this on Tuesday. So the only thing I want to say about it tonight, and it's going to lead me into topic number one on the show tonight, is G. The transfer portal is really getting out of hand. Yeah.
No. It was a 7th round draft pick, a pack of Luckies, can of Simon Eyes, and a dildo.
And a bottle of vodka.
Yeah. That's the kicker.
That's what we got besides Brittany. We got a 6th round draft pick in the next WNBA draft. We got 2 cartons of Russia's finest smokes and a case of vodka. 10% for the big guy. So the transfer portal opened up this week.
Yeah, and it's pretty crazy.
With over 1,000 names on it.
And you know why this isn't surprising?
What?
The last 2 years, COVID, teams could not really evaluate players, and players could not really evaluate programs. So I think you're really seeing the backlash of that this year, especially like with especially some of the smaller schools, even teams that you only played like 3-4 games. Or you're getting these small schools that they want to go big, or teams that were supposed to be good that are terrible, Texas A&M.
Which had 11 players, I believe, enter the portal.
Or if you're Colorado, when you just get told to enter the transfer portal because you suck. And Deion Sanders is a joke. Sorry.
Well, he did a lot for the school that he was coaching.
Yeah, in the SWAC.
Yeah, well, let's see.
A little bit of a difference here.
Let's see if he's going to prove himself in the soon-to-be watered-down Pac-10.
Yeah, it doesn't help. It is the Pac-10.
Let's see. I know there's a specific player that's a little pissed off at him.
Colorado's bad quarterback?
No. I mean, one of his Jackson State players, because he was a 5-star recruit that flipped.
From Florida State?
From Florida State.
Yeah, he was a number 2 recruit or something like that, number 1 recruit.
Something like that. I don't know. He was 5-star. So we'll see what ends up happening to him. But is your name appearing in the portal? You have some college eligibility still.
I have 4 years of college eligibility.
You and me both. Maybe my name's in the portal.
I only have 2 years of college bowling eligibility left. But I have 4 years of NCAA eligibility left.
Yeah. You and me both.
Do I get 5 since I went to college during COVID?
Yeah. Yeah, you should. You have to excuse me. You're going to see me drinking a little bit tonight. I'm sick. I'm getting over it. You'll hear me cough a few times. Kiana's joining us. Yes. By the way, I want to wish a happy birthday to longtime listener Tom Yost, if he's listening tonight. Tommy boy. It's his birthday today. Did you wish him a happy birthday?
Over Sonar.
Wish him a happy birthday.
Over Sonar.
Okay. Wish him a happy birthday over Sonar. So, World Cup. We are halfway through the quarterfinals. One upset today. As
I'm not good enough to make it into the portal. You don't have to have any skill to go into the portal.
Well, you have to know how to hit the send button, I would assume.
Maybe she's saying you have to be on a team, and then you can go into the portal.
Maybe. She's
saying I can make it onto a SWAC team as a kicker.
Well, maybe. So there was an upset today.
Yeah. Big upset.
Croatia defeated the tournament favorites, Brazil.
But is it really an upset? Is it really an upset?
Well, from the betting lines, it was certainly an upset.
Yeah, betting lines. What are betting lines? It's soccer. Okay. I'm saying no one is going to take me. Bet.
Well, he's definitely not going to get taken by a SWAC school. He's the wrong fucking color.
She said I'm unathletic. I play disc golf.
You're not going to a SWAC school. You are literally the wrong color to go to a SWAC school. Maybe you could go to, like, the Colonial Athletic Conference.
There you go.
You can go play for, like, James Madison or something.
How about the MEAC?
Richmond Spiders.
There you go.
So anyway, let's get back to Croatia.
Croatia. It's not an upset. Not as big as the money lines would say.
No, it's not. Croatia did make it to the finals 4 years ago.
And everyone who follows the Croatian team says this team is better. And there's argument that they are better. Maybe except their goalie. But their goalie is not going to be playing in the Croatian league much longer.
I mean, their goalie's pretty good when he gets the penalties.
Their goalie plays in the Croatian league. I don't even think he plays for the best team in the Croatian league. He will be playing in Europe. Well, top 5 leagues in Europe very soon. Somebody will pick him up in a month when the January transfer portal is open. He will end up going probably to like Italy or Spain.
Yes. I mean, I want to have a little commentary of my own. So,
okay.
In the round of 16, there was a couple games that went to penalties. Right? Croatia, Japan.
Yes.
Spain and Morocco. Yeah.
This golf doesn't take any skill, by the way, and I can't run without being out of breath for 2 minutes.
I don't know what it is with people taking penalty kicks. Y'all fucking suck. except for Croatia
in Argentina.
and yeah, I guess. I will say the fourth penalty kicker for Croatia, I thought he missed it. He literally got it like 2 inches inside the post.
Yeah.
I thought when he kicked it, he missed it. Like, back in my day of watching soccer, come World Cup time or Gold Cup or European Championships or whatever, whenever you went to penalty kicks, like, these would usually end like 5-4 in penalties or 6-5 in penalties or 7-6 in penalties. Because back then, soccer players or European football players, whatever the hell you want to call them, knew how to hit. I'm getting all excited here. Either the side netting or the upper 90. It was very rare when you saw a team get 3. If you had 5 kicks, you were getting 4 or 5, 90% of the time.
Do you want to announce the score of the Morocco-Spain penalty shootout?
Well, they got none, right?
3-0 after 4 kicks. For Morocco, 3 for Spain.
Like, and the Spain kicks were god awful. Like, you being unathletic could have made at least 2 saves of them. If you.
Well, I was explaining to one of my coworkers, I said, I was a goalie. I know how to score a penalty. 1, kick it down the middle. It works 95% of the time.
Which you saw.
Against an experienced goalkeeper. Now, the Netherlands goalkeeper, he would have saved them all if they went right down the middle.
Yeah.
But kick it above my shoulders anywhere, and it probably is going to go in.
Yes.
I'd have to make a really good arm save, basically, for it not to go in.
If you are kicking the ball 1.5 to 2 feet off the ground, where a lot of these kicks are, if you're not hitting side netting and the goalie guesses the right way, they're being saved.
That's perfect. It's perfect height. That's what you want.
It is. It's like they're not even trying to score. It's like I saw 1 kick today out of both penalties that went even close to the top of the net. I mean, and back then, when they were coming 6-5, most of the time you missed high. Because players were aiming for the top. They don't do that anymore. They suck.
The only ones that are good at it are, like, the top, like Messi. Like, he can get away with putting it on the floor because he knows how to just wait without illegally taking the penalty. Which there was 1 penalty in the first game that was, to me, was illegal. He, like, hesitated as he kicked the ball. He didn't fake kick it, but he hesitated, let the goalie dive. To me, that was illegal.
So the second game today, the Netherlands-Argentina game, that was a little spirited, to say the least. 17
yellow cards. World Cup record.
Yeah, it's got to be.
Might be some sort of record for just yellow cards in a game all time.
It's a good thing fair play doesn't count at this point.
Yeah, literally every player on the field got a yellow card, basically.
and even the bench got a yellow card.
When the commentators are saying he can afford to pick up a yellow card, he's one of the few left.
Yeah.
And there was definitely multiple shouts. I missed the heated action because I decided I was hungry and needed to go to the bathroom at that time. But there was sort of red cards. A number of them.
There could have been 2, for sure. For sure.
And there were tackles of people that were on yellow cards. I'm like, that was a yellow card. Like, there was some just hacks at the legs.
Well, there's no doubt that if this wasn't a World Cup game, there would have been red cards handed out. For sure.
Probably two aside.
So, now tomorrow, we have the other side of the bracket. I kind of wish the games were flip-flopped, because I would like to watch one of them, and I probably won't be home to watch it. You have the early game of Morocco and Portugal, which Portugal looked really good in their first game.
Yeah, you really were back in the Swiss.
I was. Well,
it was great.
once they got down 2-0,
Yeah.
they had to take some chances.
And what did Portugal do that made them look really good? Ronaldo sat on the bench
Ronaldo sat on the bench.
and watched. And when he came in, they sucked.
Pretty much.
But it was also later, but who cares?
Pretty much.
But Portugal does better when Ronaldo sits. And I think their coach is finally seeing that.
But then we got England, France.
And I thought going into the quarters this was going to be the most exciting game. It will not. No chance either game tomorrow is better than either game today.
I didn't think the Argentina game was all that exciting.
I liked it. It felt kind of open, especially in extra time.
Yeah, great.
Stop dying.
Now, well, what are you going to do?
And with Morocco, Portugal, it's one of those where it's kind of like Spain, Morocco. It's like Portugal's the much better team. But will Morocco score their one chance? Will they get it to penalties? If they get it to penalties, you might like Morocco.
Yeah. I mean,
I'll just hope that game's a good game. Like at that point,
what was really good about the second game today is how they came back after being down 2-0 after the 80th minute.
Yeah,
That was quite extra time. So you wanted to talk about how you think the rules should be changed.
I'm not saying the rules should be changed. I think there could be something maybe to debate about them. So the first one, we'll talk about extra time.
So explain to our non-soccer friends what that means.
So extra time in tournament soccer or football. After 90 minutes plus extra time.
Plus stoppage time.
If you're tied, you play two 15-minute halves. You have to play both halves. There is no golden goal or anything. 15 minutes on one side, 15 minutes on the other side, stoppage time in both halves. Usually it's like a minute, if any. And then if you're still tied, then you go to penalties. So, first argument, and this could just be for World Cup. I think this one could maybe be argued totally. That instead of 11v11, 9v9.
So you basically want to do what the NHL does in overtime.
Yeah. Oh, open up the field a little bit. I think it forces you to take a little more chances, and you're going to have a lot more back and forth depending on the teams. I think it could be interesting. How about you?
It would be interesting to see what a team's approach to that would be. What two position players they would take off the field.
You probably take off a defender and a midfielder.
Well, it depends what they had on the field to begin with.
It also depends what your goal is. Do you want to... This is without the second idea. So this is still just 15-minute halves. Or do you just, depending on what team you are, you might just take off two attackers and just play defense and go for penalties. The second rule change, now this is only in the World Cup. This excludes Champions League. Because in Champions League, you play two games.
You do.
World Cup, let's say Euros, Copa America, Gold Cup. All the international competitions where you're only playing knockout soccer is one game. Instead of penalties, this is also kind of like the NHL playoffs. There is no penalties. You just play. So after 90 minutes, give it extra time. Your extra time is just irrelevant. Just play. So, you can take breaks every 20, 30 minutes for whatever. You play. Both teams have to take out the same positions in the 9v9. Do both teams have to take out the same positions? No. It would be whatever position you feel that you want to take out in 9v9. If you want to take out your goalie, go for it. So instead of penalties, it's just straight overtime. Golden goal. But instead of only getting like one extra sub like you do in extra time, now you get 6 extra subs.
Yeah.
So you get 5 right now for the whole game, and then now you get the extra 6. So if it goes on an extraordinary amount of time, you could replace the whole team.
Yep.
I'm sure you hate this idea.
I do. Absolutely.
I think penalties are unfair. I like them, don't get me wrong, but are they the true way to decide who goes on the World Cup?
Well, here's why I don't like your idea. So, this is what they do in hockey, basically.
Yeah.
Once you get to the playoffs, the rules change.
Right.
Okay? But what's the difference? In hockey, all the players continue to play, unless the coach decides that a player or two doesn't.
Right.
In soccer, you have some people that are running literally 10 miles per game.
Right.
At some point, they're not going to be able to run anymore.
So what if it's 9v9?
At some point, they're not going to be able to run anymore. So then you're having your backups decide the game. That's my issue with it.
Okay. But wouldn't this decide who the better team is?
Not necessarily, no.
So let's say Morocco beats Brazil. You're going to tell me Morocco is better than Brazil?
Well, in that day, they were.
No, they weren't. Let's say Brazil had 26 shots and scored 1 goal. Morocco had 1.
Yeah.
You're going to tell me and Morocco wins in a penalty shootout because they got lucky and played park the bus.
Yeah.
You're going to tell me Morocco's the better team? No.
Well, that day, Penn Legacy Black was the better team because they beat you guys 1-0.
It wasn't a penalty shootout.
In a game that basically you're referring to.
Yeah, but we didn't score. It wasn't a tie game. They scored more than us. I'm saying in a tie game, statistics don't even really matter. But in the World Cup, the best 2 teams should be in the final 2, and it usually isn't.
So then why don't we just have the World Cup of who's the number 2 ranked team? Belgium, who didn't make it, right?
Yeah, Belgium.
So why not just have one game between Brazil and Belgium and be done with it?
Because the rankings are what word am I thinking of?
I mean, you always think that the best team is going to win. Really?
I'm not saying I don't like it the best team doesn't win. I'm trying to like stand on this hill.
And you're dying like I am.
But what if they tried it? Not even in the World Cup. What if they just tried it at Gold Cup? Because nobody cares about Gold Cup.
Are they even going to have a Gold Cup?
We'll get there. We'll get there. But I think you can make tweaks to it. But it certainly, I think, adds something different to where a team that controls the whole game and just couldn't score because the team was playing park the bus. And you know as well as I know, some of the bad teams could keep with good teams if you just park 11 players in the box.
Is park the bus an effective strategy to win a game?
If there's penalty shootouts involved.
Is park the bus an effective strategy to win a game?
In what context? In World Cup knockout stage? Sure.
No, in any soccer game. Is when you have a team that's so much better than the other team.
Yeah.
Is park the bus an effective strategy for that underdog team to win the game? And you know what I'm about to say.
You're going to say, yeah, no, they're not.
You know what I'm going to bring up.
Trying to think of what you're going to bring up.
Conrad Weiser, Twin Valley. Conrad Weiser gets an early goal 2 minutes in the game, and they park the bus the rest of the game and win 1-0.
Again, I think that's a different argument
It,
because
why
you're
is
winning.
why is
Because
that?
you're
Why
winning at one point.
why can't a strategy be to get a game to penalty kicks?
You said any game.
Well, you don't. You want me to go to the World Cup. So then, why can't an effective strategy be to get a game to penalty kicks? If you have
The World Cup.
fuck, I'm dying. If you have the better goalkeeper, if you have players that can take penalties then better than the other player, why is that not an effective strategy to win the game?
You're changing your argument. It is in the World Cup. It's not outside the World Cup. Knockout stages. So in the Premier League 20th round, it's not effective for, let's just say, Sunderland made it back to the Premier League playing Man City to park the bus and go, because you're going at that point for a 0-0.
Yeah, which you see every
And
week.
you don't go to penalties. It's just a tie.
Right, you see that every week. So that's an effective strategy to get a point.
But you're saying to win the game.
So now in World Cup again. So you have Croatia, who has really good players taking penalty kicks. You have a really good goalie. Why isn't that playing for what your strength is an effective strategy to win the game? You play to win the game. There's an NFL coach that says that. You play to win the game. If the best way for you to win the game, fuck, I'm dying, is to take your team to penalty kicks, that's what you play for. And if you get there, you have a better chance of winning. It's an effective way to win. So if you want to change the rules, then so be it. Then the weaker team will have to try to find a different way to win the game. And yes, you will have teams in the top 4 make the final 2 more often.
Except Belgium and Germany when they can't even make that.
Wasn't it great that Croatia made it 4 years ago? They weren't ranked in the top 4 years ago, were they?
I'm not saying it's not a good thing. I'm just living on the reality of realism here.
You are like what's his name? Colin Cowherd, who basically just wants to see the best teams make the college football playoffs every year.
Which never happens.
I mean,
we'll get to that argument later.
If you always have the best teams make the playoffs, then why even have the regular season? No. You don't change the fucking run. Besides, I'm a traditionalist anyway. I don't like to see rules change. You fucking Gen Zers want to change the rules because you think you know better when you fucking don't. You Gen Zers will give me medication that will make me cough and cough and cough, where my grandfather would just give me a fucking shot of old granddad and then I'll take care of this.
Go find a shot of old granddad in the kitchen. I got some in the kitchen. You want some?
You actually have old granddad in your kitchen?
I'm going to assume you mean whiskey.
Yeah. But
I have whiskey in my kitchen.
But a specific kind of whiskey.
Oh, I can't imagine I have whatever specific kind that is. But I have whiskey in the kitchen, yes.
Amazing how much talking makes me cough.
It just begs the question, maybe a rule change isn't right, but is penalties the best way to decide a World Cup knockout game? Or even a World Cup final? Should the World Cup, which only happens every 4 years, be decided on a kick from 12 yards out?
Is that really
the best strategy?
Is it really 12 yards?
Yes.
It looks so much shorter than that.
Yes, it's 12 yards.
I thought it was 8. No, I never knew that. I thought it was 8.
Yeah,
if you made me guess, I would have guessed 8.
Oh, 12.
But I guess that makes sense because the inner box. Hush, because the inner box is 6, so 12 makes sense. Okay. So, you want to predict the rest of the matches. Now that we
Yeah,
got
we were supposed to do this yesterday.
your stupid fallacy of wanting to change the rules out of the way. So, who's winning tomorrow?
What game?
Both
We'll
of
talk
them.
about first.
Start with the early game.
What's the early game?
Portugal, Morocco.
Portugal, Morocco.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna be like, and how do you remember the 2021 playoff predictions for me? 2021-2022 NFL playoff predictions.
I don't believe Portugal made the playoffs that year.
No, but I'm gonna stick on this hill of Morocco 1-0.
And why am I supposed to think back to the 21-22 playoffs?
Because I had the Bagels, who are not supposed to even make it out of the first round, make it to the Super Bowl.
Oh.
So I'm sticking with the underdog.
Got ya.
Especially because Morocco will have 95% of the fans in that stadium.
Well, that they will. That they will.
Bet you a lot of people even watching can't even name where Morocco is.
I know where Morocco is.
Not far off the coast of Spain.
I knew
Like
that.
15 miles.
I knew that.
Did you really?
Yeah, I did.
Congratulations. How about you? What's your prediction
So
for...
it's not that far from Portugal either. So, it all comes down to who's in the starting lineup. If Ronaldo's in the starting lineup, I'll take Morocco. If Ronaldo's not in the starting lineup, I'll take Portugal. I expect Ronaldo not to be in the starting lineup, so I'll take Portugal.
Boo!
Yeah.
Doesn't like underdogs.
And now for the other game.
France 2-0.
Yeah, and I believe I said you picked France the last time we did this.
Yes.
And I picked England. When was the last time a team won back-to-back World Cups? It's been a while, right?
Hold on. I will get this information.
It's been a while, ladies and gentlemen. England's gonna win, hopefully.
Brazil did it in 58 and 62. It's only ever happened twice. Brazil won back-to-back 58 and 62, and Italy did it in 34 and 38.
I remember that one. See, that's the one I remember.
I'm sure.
Yeah. England's gonna win because I'm not a fan of France. They give up.
It's coming home. It's coming home.
They give up on things way too easy.
France is the better defense. Period.
They do. Well, they do.
And the better striker.
England's got the better offense, though.
What usually wins in a best offense versus best defense game?
Defense.
Exactly.
But England will win. 2-1.
2-1.
2-1. What do you call it's going to score late? Wayne Rooney. No.
David Beckham?
Him too.
Bobby Moore?
Beckham will get their first goal.
I like how Bobby Moore just went.
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
Center back for England in 1956.
Yeah, see, I should have known that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, if you remember Italy winning in the 30s, you should definitely know who Bobby Moore is.
No, I'm Italian, so that's why I remember that.
What was the other 2 times Italy won the World Cup?
I can't think right now. I'm coughing.
Yeah. Especially because you were alive for the other 2.
Who's scoring? The guy that plays for Tottenham.
Harry Kane.
He's scoring late.
Harry Kane, I think, has 1 goal this tournament.
Mbappe will not score, so that's going to put him behind Messi.
2 goals for Mbappe.
Ooh, wow. I do like saying the name, but I'm not going to say it because it'll make me cough.
Mbappe!
Who's winning the semis in the East?
In the East?
In the East, the Eastern bracket, the left side.
Argentina 2-0.
There's no way Croatia does not score in that game.
2-0 Argentina.
It's going to penalties. 1-1 or 2-2. Argentina, you want to know a great bet for that game? I'll give you a great bet. Who's going to score first? Take Argentina, because Croatia gives up the first goal in almost every one of their games.
So that means Croatia will be up 3-0 and somehow lose.
Yes. Yes. If they go up, they're going to lose. They only know how to come from behind, like they did today. They scored in the, 116th, 117th minute?
Yeah, something like that. I mean, Brazil kind of was lazy at getting back.
They were.
That's how they scored.
And the kick was deflected.
Yeah. It looked kind of like slow motion when it was going in.
It did. Wisconsin hosts all trans hockey tournament. How interesting. Okay, then.
That's great for Wisconsin.
Sure. Croatia wins in penalties. I'm going with the underdog.
You're lame.
I'm going with the underdog. I found my team to win it all. It's going to be Croatia.
As a straight neutral, if I'm just watching soccer, I have no bias towards anything. I want to see. I mean, you realistically want to see Messi or Ronaldo.
Yeah, fuck Messi.
Messi deserves a World Cup, and you know it.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does.
Nobody deserves anything. The only person that deserves anything is me. I deserve a fucking large-breasted strawberry blonde here right now to make me feel better.
See, when you were just saying a large-breasted, I was like, what, a man?
No. Amanda was small-breasted.
I can find you a black woman that's large-breasted and strawberry blonde hair.
That wouldn't be natural.
No. It wouldn't be, but...
I didn't know you know a lot of black women with strawberry blonde hair.
I don't, but I'm sure I could find one.
So then you have Morocco and France. Who's winning that?
Morocco.
Oh, there's no fucking way.
Penalties.
Well, then you have. Are you going to tell me Morocco is going to beat Argentina in the finals?
No. Yes, Morocco to win it all.
I'm switching up my predictions from the last show. It's going to be Croatia, Portugal, and Croatia's going to win.
Portugal?
Because they're not playing Ronaldo. As long as they don't start Ronaldo, they're looking pretty good.
If I remember correctly, in our last sports show, you said Portugal was going to lose to the Swiss.
I did.
You had the Swiss getting to the semis.
I did. That was before I knew
Are you
that.
here and tell me you got Portugal making the final?
That was before I knew that they weren't starting Ronaldo.
What are you sick with? Delusion?
I don't know what I'm sick with. I must be. I only started coughing when I started talking or looking at you or something.
Yeah.
So, the college football playoffs have been announced.
Yeah, two teams are very irrelevant in them.
And I'm not going to yell like I did all last Friday.
Just go look at his Facebook.
And Saturday on Facebook.
You want to see what he thought of the college football playoffs.
I wish I wasn't sick because I really do want to yell about this. If you do not make your conference championship game in a 4-team playoff scenario like we have now, if you don't make your conference championship game, you do not fucking deserve to be in the playoffs. It's just that simple. The Big Ten could easily change the rules.
And they're going to in 2024.
2024. That's fine. Because that's
when
when
USC and UCLA are coming in, that's what they're doing.
Yeah, and that's fine. I understand. And then my point becomes mute. Because if the rules were that the two best teams play, Michigan and Ohio State would have played each other again. If Ohio State won that game, then by all means, they deserve to be in the playoffs. By all means. If they lost the game, they would not be in the playoffs.
Correct.
It'd be interesting to see who would have made the playoffs. Probably fucking Alabama, and they wouldn't have deserved it.
You could argue
Clemson.
Tennessee. They beat Alabama. They should be higher ranked than Alabama.
Yeah, except their quarterback's out.
So?
Well, they're not going to win with their backup quarterback.
Now, granted, now Tennessee was healthy. Alabama's healthy. Tennessee only beats Alabama in Tennessee.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Do you agree with the playoffs?
No.
No.
I'm jumping on your bandwagon. I'm not really sure playing an extra game you should be punished.
Do you agree with the top three?
Yes, but I'm not sure about the order.
What do you think the order should be?
I think there's an argument to play Michigan at 1.
Okay.
And to be honest, I'm happy either way.
I don't see it, but okay.
I think Michigan's had a better season. Yeah, you could argue Georgia's played a better conference, blah blah blah, but they struggled against Kent State.
Yeah,
they struggled against Missouri.
Yeah,
they struggled against teams they shouldn't struggle against.
Right.
Michigan struggled against one team, and that was a look-ahead game.
I wouldn't say that they struggled only against one team.
Who did they struggle against?
Well, which one team are you thinking of? Illinois.
Illinois, yeah.
They were losing a lot of games at half or in the third quarter. They were losing to Penn State in the third quarter. They were losing to Rutgers in the third quarter.
Yeah. I'm just looking at scores here. I'm not talking about games. Yeah, sure, they struggled against a bunch of teams at halftime.
Yes.
And then they blew them all out by 20.
Yes. I mean, if Michigan was 1, they would have found a way they would have had to put Ohio State at 3.
And they would have. They would have put TCU at 4.
So your matchups wouldn't change.
No.
Except where they're playing could have changed.
Yeah. Now, I think this is another mute argument, but I don't think the Big Six Bowls should have anything to do with the playoffs. I mean, with the 12 bowls or the 12 teams, yeah, it's just going to turn into that, where those really mean nothing now. But they haven't meant anything since the playoffs started. The Rose Bowl, Sugar Bowl, they don't mean anything anymore.
Right.
Like,
unless they're going to use them as playoff games.
Yeah, and I don't like how they're playoff games. At this point, just kind of get rid of them. Like, they're just, they don't mean the same. They're not the same. They're not part of history anymore.
So you want them to go to the way of the Blue Bonnet Bowl.
Uh-huh.
When I was a kid, there was a bowl called the Blue Bonnet Bowl.
I mean, just call it the college semifinal. Semifinal. That's fine. You know, it doesn't need to be like next year, the Rose Bowl. Well, the Rose Bowl is the Big Ten and the Pac-12, not the SEC versus the ACC. Get that crap out of here.
Oh, so here you want to be a traditionalist.
Yes.
You just don't want to be a traditionalist when it comes to the World Cup.
I just was trying to make an argument against finishing games on a penalty shootout.
I get it. You want to be a
Oh my god!
A traditionalist.
The reason I send you this stuff is because I see it on Twitter, and I'm like, that's a good argument part. I'll put it in the show.
You want to be a traditionalist when it fits your opinion. I understand. I understand. So obviously, so again, who should be your fourth seed?
Probably USC, but nobody really deserves it.
That's correct. Nobody deserves it.
And USC is your best option because they shouldn't really be punished. To be honest, I think Utah's better than USC.
Well, they did beat them twice.
Their defense is just a lot better. I mean, I don't think it really matters because they got to play Georgia either way. I don't think Ohio State, USC, Utah, or anybody would beat Georgia. Maybe Alabama could. I mean, it shows how much it means when an Ohio State wide receiver is not playing in the playoffs. Like, that shows you it means nothing. Like, I get it, money. Sure, money talks. But
or has he been told that he runs the risk of re-injuring himself?
And that's probably why he did it.
You would hope that's why he did it.
You shouldn't declare then. Just say you're not going to. Just don't play the games. Like, ask your coach or something. Like, you should still be there. And then just declare after the playoffs. Big deal. Say, hey, Ryan Day, I'm going to stick with the team because it's the team. But I have a career to look to. Don't play me because I have an 80% chance to re-injure myself and maybe not have a career. I think Ryan Day can cope with that.
I'm not so sure, but okay.
I think it's a better option than making yourself look like an ass.
Mm-hmm.
I think you look like an asshole.
It does.
I don't care if you're injured or not. If you're injured, okay, it's a little bit better, but you should still be with the team.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're just basically saying, I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, nobody deserves the 4th spot. But whoever's there, it probably doesn't matter anyways.
Let me ask you a question. Let's go back a month and a half or so.
Yeah.
There was a game at Beaver Stadium.
Yeah.
Between Penn State and Ohio State.
Yeah.
Penn State had the lead in that game in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, with about 8 minutes to go.
If they held on and won that game,
right,
would they be the 4th seed?
Nope.
You don't think so, huh?
Nope. There's one very, very specific reason. They're not Ohio State. They're not the world-famous Ohio State.
There you go. It's about time you're catching on to the name.
They're not them. Penn State might bring in more money, and they probably do.
They do.
At least fan-wise. Maybe not TV ratings. There's an argument there. It's pretty similar. But no, Alabama would be in. Penn State would have been number 5.
That would be very interesting because then that would be the first time a 2-loss team made it.
Yeah. But the committee, one, doesn't like Penn State.
And that would be the second time that they fucked Penn State over.
Yes, it would be. I mean, in hindsight, yeah, they should be there. They both lost to Michigan by about the same score. Just Penn State actually had to go to Michigan. They weren't blown out at home.
Yeah.
So realistically, Penn State's better. At that point, Penn State took care of other opponents. I think Penn State might have been better than Ohio State. They didn't trip up against anybody. Ohio State struggled across the line against multiple teams.
I think
Northwestern, Maryland, to name a couple.
I think if you put Penn State versus Ohio State, if they played 10 times on a neutral field,
yeah,
I think Ohio State wins the majority of the games only because Penn State doesn't know how to finish games.
I would say 7-3 Ohio State.
Right. With the talent that's on the field this year, it probably should be 6-4 Penn State.
Probably.
But that's the one thing Penn State's going to have to learn to do is figure out how to finish games against these upper echelon teams. You see it over and over again. It goes back to the Rose Bowl when they won against USC.
They lost to USC.
Yeah, but they were up by 14.
Yeah, they should have won that game pretty easily.
Yeah. I mean, how many times have we seen them up late against Ohio State over the years? And they find ways to lose every time.
2017, 2018, 2019.
I mean, they just find ways to lose these big games when they should be winning. Which, when I was growing up under Joe Paterno, it was the exact opposite. If Penn State took a lead late in the game and the other team needed to, like, if they would be up 4, let's say 27-23, which seemed to happen all the time, either up 27-23 or up 24-20, and the other team had to score a touchdown, it was inevitable. They would drive into Penn State's territory and 9 out of 10 times not score. All the time. Every fucking time.
I'd rather be in that position than having to score like it seems like Penn State has to do. They're always down a touchdown. They got to score. I'd rather be up and let them score.
Well, but that's what happened. They were up 14 to USC. They were up how many against Ohio State in 2018?
17 and 18.
Yeah, and they couldn't hold on to the leads. I'm saying back in the Paterno days, they would have held on to those leads easily. Easily.
They should have beat Michigan last year.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So we'll talk about the bowl games obviously starting next Friday. I will say though I hope to God that Georgia puts up like 80 against Ohio State.
They won't.
But I hope they do.
And they're just going to rest their players.
I swear to God, if fucking Ohio State wins that game,
they got less than a 5% chance to win that game. Their defense sucks.
Their defense does suck.
Defense isn't even top 5 in the Big Ten.
I know that. But I swear to God, if they fucking find a way to win that game, if they fucking win the national championship, fucking Jesus Christ. So, one other thing about Penn State before we move on to pro football. I said it here before, and obviously I was wrong. Parker Washington did declare for the draft today. Now, we don't know why he did it. If his family really needs the money, so be it. Congratulations. From what I understand, league minimum is $750,000 on a rookie contract, from what I understand.
Something like that, yeah.
But there ain't no way he would have been better off coming back. He had 2 years of eligibility because of his COVID year.
Money, I think, is a mute argument with NIL.
Well, potentially. You don't know what kind of NIL deal he has.
Being the number one wide receiver at Penn State, with your ex-quarterback being the CEO of a multi-million-dollar NIL company at Penn State, you would have had an NIL deal.
You would think he would have. I mean, from what I've heard, the experts are saying he is no better than a 6th-round draft choice at this point.
I'm not even sure he's that.
He's small.
Yeah.
He doesn't really get open all that much. Like, he other than the one game, it was the Ohio State game, what other games did he impress?
He made some nice catches. Like, he made some diving catches and stuff, but he's never had, like, that 3-touchdown, 200-yard game.
Yeah. He is, at best, a number 2. At best. I think on most teams he's going to be a 3. He's going to be a slot receiver.
And that's he wasn't Penn State, just he was the number 1.
Like, he will never be a Jahan.
He's just too short.
Like, he will never be, who was the other Penn State wide receiver before Dotson?
KJ Hamler.
KJ Ham. Like, he'll never be them.
And he is the size of KJ Hamler. But like Dotson did, he stayed the extra year. Yeah, he could have probably went in the 5th round. No, he stayed a year, 16th overall. And I'm not saying Parker could be 1st round, but he could certainly be a 2nd rounder.
So, again, if his family needed the money, so be it. Again, we don't know. We're not experts on NIL, so we don't know what kind of NIL deals would have been out there. You would think he would have something, but who knows? Who knows? So week 14 is upon us in the NFL.
Wow, you only skipped one of the one things I really wanted to talk about.
Hold on. Let me look at the schedule that was sent to me. World Cup. Penn State beat Ohio State. Oh, actually, yeah. Okay, I was getting to the one thing. Yeah. All right. So you want to talk about Will Levis?
I do. I've seen 3 draft boards today. Just people that get paid to
Yeah.
do it. And that's great. And usually they're pretty good at it.
Yeah.
If your life is football, you should be pretty accurate at it.
Yeah.
All 3 of them had Will Levis as the best quarterback in the class.
Yeah.
And going number 3 or number 4.
So Will Levis, all right, let me say this, and then I'm going to shut up for a minute. This is the weakest quarterback draft class that I've seen in a long, long time.
It's pretty bad. It's like last year's. It sucks.
That's all I'm going to say. So you go ahead.
Well, with that statement, I agree. Your best quarterbacks in the draft are Will Levis, CJ Stroud, and Bryce Young. A transfer to Kentucky, an Ohio State quarterback, and an Alabama quarterback. Yeah. Will Levis is not the best quarterback in this draft. You can maybe argue he's the best pocket passer, and that works in the NFL to an extent. Ohio State quarterbacks suck because they're not pocket passers. They're dual threats. And Bryce Young just gets to throw to wide open receivers all the time.
Right.
AKA Mac Jones.
Right.
I don't think Will Levis is the best overall quarterback. Would he fit in at certain teams? Absolutely. Like if he went and played in New England, he'd be miles better than Mac Jones. I don't think they would ever really succeed. But I'm not sure he's good enough to be a top 5 pick.
Right. So, Pro Football Focus, which is one of my go-to people, has him as quarterback number 2, third pick in the draft.
Behind CJ Stroud?
No, Bryce Young. Bryce Young is the top pick, and then Will Anderson, who's an edge rusher out of Alabama. So Alabama's going 1-2.
I saw one where they had a Georgia edge rusher going number 1.
That's Will Anderson. Oh, no. That's Jalen Carter.
Yeah.
So in Tankathon, they have Will Levis going right now 9th as the 3rd quarterback.
No, I think that's at least a little more realistic.
His stock, in my opinion, has certainly dropped.
Yeah. The second half of his season this year did not help.
Yes.
I mean, it doesn't help. Kentucky kind of sucks. Doesn't have much to throw to.
And let's face it, he got hurt. I don't know how, you would think, oh, turf toe. Oh, big fucking deal. He's got turf toe. But apparently that's a fucking painful injury that lingers on and on and on and on and on. Let's see what Bleacher Report has. So Bleacher Report has the Alabama and the Georgia rushers 1-2. And then Miles Murphy, another edge rusher from Clemson, is 3. They have CJ Stroud at 7, Bryce Young at 10, and Will Levis at 11.
It kind of depends where they fall. Like the Panthers, they're probably going to pick up a quarterback. Houston, who knows what they're going to do. Cleveland can maybe pick up somebody.
No, they got Watson though.
Ooh.
Until he rapes another woman.
Let's say ooh. I mean, I don't think I'd want him a mile from my team.
Well, they got him though.
Yeah, and they're paying like an absurd amount to him.
Yeah, so they got him.
I mean, I think New England should probably pick up a quarterback. Mac Jones sucks.
Well, the problem is there's no good quarterbacks in this draft.
Yeah. I mean, my dear old Packers really need a quarterback.
You know, that's very, very interesting. And again, if there were good quarterbacks in this draft, Colin Cowherd said something this week that I found very interesting. So, obviously, the Packers are probably not going to make the playoffs.
Probably not.
So, why not let Love play to see if he's got what it takes? So, he's theorizing that the Packers know that he sucks. So they're not going to let him play to the last game of the season when they play Detroit. And then they're going to let him play, and should have a really good offensive game. And because of that, that will increase his tradability. Like right now, they think if they traded him, they might be able to get a fourth, more likely a fifth round draft pick. But they think if they hold him out and only play where he could have one good offensive game, that they could get a second or a third.
It's possible.
Yeah, but then the question is, you're not gonna take a quarterback in this draft.
Can you trade Rodgers for somebody good?
No, because no one's gonna take his price tag next year.
True.
By the way, I'm scanning the board. I've gotten down to 100. No Sean Clifford.
I don't think Sean Clifford's going to make the NFL. I'm sorry.
How many Penn State players?
Declaring for the draft?
How many Penn State players in this top 100? I saw one, obviously.
Joey Porter.
Yeah,
he should be up there.
You would think he's on here somewhere.
He should be in the first round.
So, alumni, or however you say his name.
Olu.
Yeah, he's 12 and Joey Porter's 6.
Oh.
And that's it for Penn Staters in the top 100 on this draft board.
And that's about right. That's about right.
So, last night's game was a little interesting. For those of you that watched it, I did not. For those of you that live under a rock, well, actually, I'm going to say something that nobody knows right now, but me and the non-genetically proven son. You messaged me this week, and you said to me, you think San Francisco should put in a waiver claim for Baker Mayfield. Because he's got to be better than Purdy, who was Mr. Irrelevant.
You kind of froze, so I'm not really sure what you said.
Oh. You said to me that San Francisco should put in a waiver claim for Baker Mayfield.
I thought that was possible, yes.
And because you felt that he's better than Mr. Irrelevant, Purdy, who was the last pick in the draft. That's why he's called Mr. Irrelevant. Which I did find out today that they're not putting Garoppolo on injured reserve.
No, he has a small chance to be back for the playoffs.
Later in the playoffs.
And I'm maybe not saying to pick up Baker to start him, but he certainly couldn't hurt. Because then, let's just say Brock gets hurt. Yeah. What do you got after that?
They might be looking at you or me.
Exactly. So even if Baker isn't as good as Brock, he at least has one playoff experience. He was in the AFC title game, I believe, right?
No.
Then he was in the division title game.
He was in the
game
playoffs.
For the AFC title game.
They lost first round of the playoffs.
Pretty sure they lost in the second round.
So, I mean, if they take me, as long as I'm not coughing.
Hey, you gotta pass the ball. They don't have anyone to hand it off to.
I go, red 42. Point at the linebacker because I could see he's ready to blitz. Fucking 370-pound Bubba.
Point at that guy.
Red 42. Change the play. Point at the other big black guy that's ready to come eat me alive. Hut, hike. Hand it off. I could do that.
Can you? Can you really?
I could do that. Or, you know where I would be best?
Left bench?
No. Victory formation.
I
I could do victory formation just fine.
You fumble the ball.
These are hands of steel. I would do victory formation just
I'm worried
fine.
about you handing off the ball because that requires you to, one, do a 180 and turn around and hand the ball off. I'm worried about your footwork.
Hence, again, I could do victory formation just fine.
Well, you can't do Penn State victory formation.
No.
That requires a shotgun.
Yeah, I can't do that. Now, my only problem with doing victory formation is someone may need to help me up.
You only have to knee the ball.
Right, and you know, when you're fat and 50, it's a little hard to get back up. That's all I'm
You
say.
can tell me you're best suited as like the fridge.
No. As
a fullback? You can be a fullback.
As a quarterback, I'm saying I could do the victory formation very well.
Maybe.
So, anyway, Baker Mayfield came in the game last night, and when I got emailed the topics to the show today, and I'm going to let the non-genetically proven son talk about this because I have no fucking idea what he means by this. Every Mayfield finds a nut once in a while.
Yeah, it's like the saying, every squirrel eventually finds a nut.
Yeah.
So, every now and then, Mayfield actually looks good.
That's true.
I mean, he's a bum.
He's a bum.
But every now and then, he looks good.
He's got a decent-looking wife.
So, I named it, because I was like, that's funny.
Yeah. With the threat of upsetting Baker, I'd probably do his wife.
There you go.
In the ass.
There you go.
Now, I don't want to upset Baker because, if she hears that, then she'll be at my doorstep in the morning. Just saying.
And for a little inside info, the way I put together the show is scrolling through Twitter at work or like after work or at home, and I see something I want to talk about, sports-wise.
Yeah.
Like that's how I came up with World Cup stuff, or I saw Baker won the game last night. I was like, oh, everyone wants to make a big deal about it. Let's talk about it. And say that might be the only game he wins in a Rams uniform. Until they play. Do they have to play Denver? If they play Denver, they'll win. Just this off Bryant, basically saying Bryant knows if Denver had, let's just say, Josh Allen, Denver would have like one loss.
If Denver could score 18 points a game, they'd have 2 losses right now.
Yeah, and they'd look like one of the better teams in the league. Because their defense is great.
Yeah.
Just they can't score with ass.
Yeah. Yes.
And it's amazing how Russell Wilson just went from like good to like terrible.
Yeah.
Very quickly.
Yeah.
And they gave up way too much for him now. They gave up 2 first rounders, first rounder next year. They gave up the girl from Russia too.
A whole case of Simonized, I heard.
Jeez.
Yeah.
You sure it wasn't a pallet?
And each player on Seattle got a box of condoms. Of course, being in Seattle, they were all extra small.
I was gonna make that joke.
Sorry, I beat you to it.
Extra small ones.
Hey, guess what time of the week it is? I'm so excited. Can you tell?
It's 8:10 on a Friday.
Yes. It is 8:10 on a Friday. It is time for this week's. See, I even remembered to do it the right way so the microphone stays on. Time for this week's Phatts Phantastic Phive. Yay!
Woo!
Yay!
Don't sound so excited.
Look, I'm even going to put us up in the picture. Yay!
Hey.
Yay!
Well, this is the best time of the week.
It is the best time of the week. This is the time where we tell you what not to play. Actually,
Hey, I had a winning week last week.
we both had winning weeks last week.
Yeah, exactly. So you should have played what we played.
So let's recap last week.
Yeah. Shall we?
Let's look at, let's see here. Whoops, that's not what I wanted to do. Let's move you here. Move this here. And look at that. There we go. There we go. Let's look at last week's plays. Non-genetically proven son. He took the over 67.5. Utah. Easy. USC.
Easy win.
Winner, winner. He took over Michigan. Team total 34.5.
Kiana says, unless it's me making his picks, and should have gone 5-0, but didn't trust Penn State. You're saying like when we don't follow our picks, unless Kiana's making my picks.
Well, she does have a point. In our first head-to-head game of the season, you took the New York Giants +2. They covered because the game ended in a tie.
Should have won the game multiple times.
Well, both teams could have won the game a few times. And then the bad part comes. You had Tennessee +4.5. Oops.
They look bad.
Oops. And you had Joe Burrow over 297.5 passing yards. I had to look it up. He had 286.
That's to say, he just was short.
Sounds like what the girls say to you. Just short.
Damn.
Just a little short.
What, is it like the referee that's like this?
Yes. Let's look at my picks from last week. I had Derrick Henry over 83.5 rushing yards. Oy vey.
I think he had like 40.
Oy vey. You know, they got down early, so they had to change their whole game plan. You know, and the Eagles' rush defense isn't that good. It just isn't. But, you know, when they score a lot early, forces you to pass the ball. New York Jets mini over 44.5.
No idea if that was a winner, but I guess it is.
27-22 was the final, I believe. I mean, I know it went over, but I believe the final score is 27-22. Miami, San Francisco over 46.5.
Miami looked not good after the first play.
And then the final two games, I said I was playing because... Oh, am I getting you sick?
Yes.
The final two games, I said I was playing because when a team played a division game before their bye, they've covered every time this year. So I took New Orleans +3. They lost basically the last second of the game by a point. And then we went head-to-head. Obviously, Washington -2 was a loser. For you had the Giants. I had Washington. The game ended in a tie.
The G-Men.
So let's look at your plays for this week. When I saw them, I was like, well, these are some interesting plays.
Well, there's no college, so I'm really limited to my... Well, there's Navy, Army-Navy.
Yes, and I am going to force you to make a prediction on the game. Not with the line, who's just going to win.
I don't know.
Also, I'm going to force you to make a prediction.
All right.
It doesn't count for our standings.
Yeah, I know. But
Not that I'm counting the standings this year anyway.
Good.
All right, so here's your picks for this week.
Lots of interesting picks.
You have Denver's team total under 16.5. Probably a very good pick because, you know, they can't score.
Exactly. They're playing Kansas City, who doesn't have the greatest defense. But Kansas City's going to be up, and you're going to force Denver to pass the ball, and Russell Wilson sucks.
I was going to take this game, and then
We're
I
going to take
didn't.
Kansas City?
I didn't because the line kept going down. So that should tell you who I was going to play. So I might have something else on this game a little later. You're jumping on that Joe Burrow bandwagon again.
Yeah. See, look, he's going to cover this one.
Over 277.5 passing yards. Now, the reason why I like this play so much was, number one, I have him in fantasy football. So, you know.
Well, of course you love those plays.
But this is a revenge game for them. They played Cleveland on Halloween night, Monday Night Football, and Cleveland blew them the fuck out. So this is a huge revenge spot for them.
Cleveland won't be able to stop Chase, Boyd, and Higgins.
You might see this game come up a little later. Davis Mills, over 1.5 interceptions. Do you even know who Davis Mills plays for?
Houston. Playing against my fantasy team defense, the Dallas Cowboys.
The Dallas Cowboys.
Best defense in the league. Dallas is going to be winning this game, so they're going to have to throw the ball. When I saw it was only a half interception, I was like, thank you.
Do you happen to remember what it had to be minus?
115, I think.
Well, that's not bad. Fuck, I might end up betting that.
That's the only reason I took it. If it's not over like 130, I feel safe with it. Because, like, I was asking Kiana to help me with my picks, and she would just go, Dallas is going to win. I'm like, yeah, they're minus like 600 to win the game. No crap. I know they're going to win the game. Like, do you think they're going to cover 17.5? What does that mean?
Yeah.
Again?
Final score, Houston 42, Dallas 12. And Davis Mills.
As long as Davis Mills throws an
interception.
interception, I don't really care. As long as I also win my fantasy matches, because I got to win to make the playoffs.
You do. You do. Yes, you do. And then you took Minnesota +2. So this is one of those lines that I don't understand. So
Same, but Minnesota needs to win to clinch the division.
This is why I stayed away from the game, because you would think Minnesota would be favored in this game. They're playing Detroit.
Yeah. I don't understand the line either.
Let's admit, when they played earlier this year, Detroit should have beaten them.
Correct.
Minnesota was down double digits in the fourth quarter. And Detroit found a way to lose the game. Minnesota didn't find a way to win the game. Detroit found a way to lose the game. By the way, of all the metrics, Minnesota is the luckiest team this year so far. They have 2.4 more victories than they should have.
Jeez.
They should be 8-4, or technically like 7.5 and 4.5, which obviously, you can't be.
I think that'd be a more realistic number to how good that team is.
They're 8-0 in one-score games.
Well, it's a 1 o'clock game, so don't have to worry about prime time.
Yep.
I don't understand why Minnesota's an underdog. And they need to win to get the division, so I'll take it.
Yep. And then for your final play, which I could be interested to see why you decided to take this as your final play. Like, this is something I would have never expected to see from you. Mike White over 1.5 passing touchdowns.
Yeah. Mike White's going to have to pass the ball.
You would think.
Because they're going to be losing. You would think most of the game. And you also think, and I also think this game could be higher scoring. Could be.
Well, the Jets seem to put up more points when he's quarterbacking.
Exactly. So if the Jets are going to score 28 points, I'm just hoping he passes for 2 of those touchdowns.
Got it.
Kiana liked this game, so I tried to find a play in this game. I was like, this one works, because I was looking at interceptions again. I was looking at, like, yards, rushing yards. I looked at, like, Stephon Diggs' yards, which was, like, 77.5. I was like, the problem is the Bills have a little too many people to throw to, that, like, you're not relying just on Stephon Diggs.
Yeah.
So, give me Mike White.
Okay.
Best quarterback in the league.
So, let's look at my picks. It's interesting. I say this every week. You do not see my picks until now.
Correct.
Now, I had my picks done last night already.
I'm going to guess you didn't take 4 prop plays.
No, I took none. I do have a team total in there, so I guess if you consider that a prop play, I took 1. But I had these picks last night because we originally were going to do the show Thursday, and I just, with how sick I am, just could not do the show last night. But it's interesting. We have a lot of the same games.
Good.
Just different bets in these games.
Well, yeah, I don't expect to see Davis Mills over 1.5 interception.
So here's my picks. I have the Jets, plus 10. I like it now that it's double digits. The only thing that concerns me about this game is Buffalo's playing with revenge. And when Buffalo wins, they usually cover. They don't win and not cover very often. And sooner or later, Mike White is not going to have a good game. Let's just hope it's not this Sunday. Because if the Jets want to make the playoffs, I'm not going to say this is a must-win game because it's certainly not. But after last week's debacle, when they should have beat Minnesota,
yeah, that was bad.
that was really bad.
I was watching that game, hoping you were watching it and thinking of the tantrum you might have been throwing.
Yeah, I wasn't watching it. I was following it online.
It was...
Yeah.
Red Zone was like on it, and they wouldn't move from it. I'm just like, oh my god, he's pissed. He's pissed. He's pissed.
Yeah.
And they couldn't score from the 1 on first and goal. Second and goal.
Second goal, yeah. Yep. I have Cincinnati minus 5.5. Same reason that I gave earlier on your play. Cincinnati is playing with revenge. They literally got their ass handed to them on Monday Night Football on Halloween. I mean, they got their ass kicked. Deshaun Watson did not look good last week in his first game playing for Cleveland. You wouldn't expect him to look good. I mean, he hasn't played in like 18 months or something like that.
Yeah.
So he's not going to look good. He's going to be rusty. It's going to take time to shake off the rust. Cincinnati is once again the real deal. I mean, they have 4 losses, but they were 0-2 after 2 weeks. You know, their quarterback didn't play in the preseason because he had to have surgery. So he had to shake the rust off. They played really good since then. This isn't going to be a letdown spot. Yes, they beat Kansas City last week, but now this is a divisional game. With Baltimore's starting quarterback being out, this is their division to win again. And let's face it, if they win out, they got to play Buffalo yet, I believe. If they could find a way to win out, they could get the number 1 seed. I mean, they already beat Kansas City, so they own the tiebreaker against Kansas City. They could beat Buffalo. I'm sure they play them. Because they won the division last year, and Buffalo won their division, so they play each other. I don't think they played each other yet this year. So they must play each other at some point.
On Monday night, January 2nd.
There you go.
Out in the Rose Bowl.
There you go.
What a fun day of football that's going to be.
It's going to be a great day of football. I'll just be pissed that I got to go to work the next morning.
I'm going to hope I'm in Pasadena. I doubt it, but I'm going to hope.
So, that is going to be a fun day of football. So Cincinnati, you know, Kansas City now has what, 3 or 4 losses? Buffalo has 3 or 4 losses.
Are you smoking?
Well, Buffalo certainly has 3.
Buffalo's 3. Kansas City has 3.
Okay. So Cincinnati controls their own destiny. Well, I shouldn't say that yet, because if Kansas City wins out, then they would have the number 1 seed.
Kansas City gets to play the Broncos, the Texans, the Seahawks, the Broncos, the Raiders. I don't see them not winning out.
You don't know that.
The Raiders could beat them the last week. They're not going to lose to the Broncos. I'm sorry.
This is all I'm going to say is Indianapolis beat them earlier this year.
They have a good receiver.
That's all I'm going to say.
We got Michael Pittman.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
Then I have Philly Giants under 45.
Defense.
I think this is going to be a low-scoring game. The Giants know if they have any chance to win this game, and get back on the right track. Yeah, they started off 6-1 or something like that, but they've only won 1 out of their last 5. They know
Because
they cannot with Daniel Jones. They know they cannot get in a track meet with this team.
Daniel Jones is not a good quarterback.
He's not. The weather's supposed to be crappy. A cold rain. In fact, around this area, they're talking about it could even be snow in the morning. Here north.
I think it's supposed to be like 44 here on Sunday.
And I blew myself a bloody nose again. So, excuse me while I take myself off camera. Let's see here. There we go. I did this last night too.
Stop blowing so hard.
Then I have a team total. As I said, you'll see this game later when you had it in your picks.
I see.
I have team total Kansas City under 26.5. You said it earlier. Denver's defense is really good.
Is really good.
Kansas City has a history of not playing well when they're on the road. I believe they're on the road this week. I hope they are.
Fact checking you. Kansas City is on the road.
Yes. In fact, Denver beat them last year in Mile High.
Denver can beat a lot of teams at Mile High.
Mahomes doesn't have the greatest history of playing in that stadium. I'm not saying Denver's going to win the game. Not this year. But I certainly think with their defense, they could hold Kansas City to 24 points. I don't see that being such a hard job. And then my final game, I have what I think is going to be a high-scoring game. I would have liked to have done this show a couple days ago when the over-under was 43.5. Or even if we did the show last night when the over-under was 44.
So why do you like the over with... Does Carolina even have a quarterback?
Yeah, they have the Sam Darnold.
Do they even have a quarterback?
I probably should have taken Seattle team total over.
I think I'd like that a little bit more.
Or even
Seattle could maybe put up 44 themselves.
Or even just Seattle.
Yeah.
Because they're a small favorite in this game. But I took the over in this game. You have to excuse me. I'm not thinking at this moment. I'm trying to get my nose to stop bleeding. All right, so let's recap the plays. You have Denver team total under 16.5. Joe Burrow over 277.5 passing yards. You have Davis Mills over 1/2 interceptions. You have Minnesota +2. And you have Mike White over 1.5 passing touchdowns. I have New York Jets +10. Cincinnati -5.5. Philly, New York Giants under 45. Kansas City team total under 26.5. Carolina, Seattle over 44.5. And that is this week's Phatts Phantastic Phive. Woo!
Woo!
Woo! Watch what I do now. Ready? Watch this.
I'm watching.
Zing.
Why would you do that to me?
Take us out, because you don't want to see me right now.
Take us out?
Take us
out. All right. So that has been Phatts TV for today.
Really, come on. We've been doing this for almost 3 years. You don't know how to say goodbye on this show?
No, not really. Not usually my job.
We would like to thank you for watching us.
We would like to thank you for watching Phatts TV today. Join us back on Tuesday for our political show. Well, we'll see if he's not dead.
Which is, a definite possibility.
Yeah, so if he's not, we'll talk Tuesday about
Well, just get a substitute. Get a substitute for me.
substitute. So you just alive yourself.
Yeah, until I make it back to life, until I, rise from the dead like Jesus did. I'm not saying I'm Jesus, but
And if you don't feel like joining us Tuesday, join us next Friday for our next Friday sports show, where we are going to talk about the end of the World
You
Cup.
definitely want to join us Tuesday.
You do.
You definitely want to join us, because here's what I already know what we're talking about on Tuesday.
Russia.
So we're going to talk about, Brittany. Without a doubt, the best trade the WNBA has ever made. The most famous trade the WNBA has ever made. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the Biden administration's undersecretary for waste, like nuclear waste. Like, he's the guy that is in charge of disposing nuclear waste.
Interesting.
In the administration.
What a job.
Why are we going to talk about him? You'll find out on Tuesday. It's very interesting. I will tell you after the show why we're going to talk about him.
Okay.
All right? And you're going to find this very interesting. And then we're going to talk about something that, if you don't know what's going on right now, you may find something interesting. It's called the Twitter files. We are definitely going to talk about this on Tuesday. So, non-genetically proven son, if you don't know what the Twitter files are, you need to brush up on it. You have this weekend to brush up on the Twitter files. There's been 3 of them now. The third one came out tonight. So you got to brush up on the Twitter files. We will talk about that.
Elon Musk's page.
We will talk about the Twitter files. So, until then, thank you for joining us on tonight's edition of Phatts TV. Have a very safe, happy, and healthy weekend. And we will see you, hopefully, when I'm feeling better and not bleeding like I have my period coming out of my nose. Wave goodbye to the people. Yeah.